This is absolutely crazy. This end board is absolutely insane. Guys, he's done it again. My boy, Anthony ECKROTH, just got 10th place at the Utah Regionals with his insane deck. Like, guys, look at this end board. This is crazy. It's all, like, we got Dragite negating, we got Baron de Fleur, we have Draco Staphelio, we have a Stellar Wolf Wolfrayet, we have Earthbound Servant Geokraken as an interrupt as well. And then on top of that, we have Earthbound Fusion to actually be activated during our opponent's turn to go into a Guardian Chimera line, plus the full graveyard, whatever we milled with the Medora engrave, Cash Tier about to mill 2 more, and Sharon about to fuse yet again. There's nothing that can play through this. And this deck is insane, guys. I want to tell you guys about this deck profile that he sent me. It's absolutely busted. Guys, check this out. So yes, Anthony ECKROTH, huge shout out to my man who got 10th place at Utah Regionals. He actually was on a super hot streak, going 5-0 before losing to 2 fire decks, which he said was absolutely preventable. The 2 losses were sheerly due to some unfortunate misplays, but it seems like this deck is actually extremely powerful. We previously did a profile on the channel about the first prototype of this deck. You guys know that Fenrir actually in tandem with the new Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper is just full combo, and this has been optimized and refined even further in their latest iteration, playing only 40 cards, and you can see how like pristine this is. We're also making use of the new Earthbound Fusion. These cards are absolutely insane. I gotta explain these cards to you guys first and foremost because you guys probably don't know what they do. So the new Earthbound guys that came out in Maze of Millennia, they are very powerful. They rely on field spells, and they can also search field spells. Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper is effectively a tour guide for any level 5 or lower Earthbound monster. You special summon or normal summon this guy, and you can get a free level 5 or lower monster Earthbound from your deck or your graveyard. And obviously these guys do lock you into synchro and fusion plays, which is why you don't see any links in the extra deck. But basically with Groundkeeper, I'll show you guys a combo afterwards, the test hand I did. You summon out the Earthbound Linewalker, who allows you to add a copy of Harmonic Synchro Fusion, which is a busted fusion card that allows you to fusion and synchro all rolled into one card. Yeah, it's nuts. On top of that, we're playing the tier engine because Fenrir actually allows you to search TEARLAMENTS Cash Hero, which is really important. So we are going to go off into synchro plays because these guys are synchros. Tuner monsters to go into Baron de Fleur and powerful synchros like the Yugioh Griffin, and it's just a crazy combo deck. We're also playing Earthbound Fusion, which says during the main phase, you can activate this to fuse a dark fusion monster from your X deck using monsters in your hand or field as material. And then while it's in the graveyard, so if it gets milled, you can actually banish it to special summon an Earthbound monster from your hand or graveyard non-targeting, which is equally as crazy. And on top of all of this, why are we playing Earthbounds with Tearlaments? Obviously, there's a Cash Tier Fenrir synergy, but there is actually one Earthbound Servant Geogrimlina, who's a Fiend Fusion monster that allows you to special summon him using any Earthbound monster or one Dark monster, meaning if you mill an Earthbound monster plus a Tearlaments monster, you just go directly into the Geogrimlina, who then allows you to add an Earthbound monster to start your engine. Really crazy. So he had a couple of notes here. I'll go with you guys, go over. He said to play Droll because he wanted a card that could prevent Appaloosa. And this deck does really well playing through half boards. If they have like, you know, interruptions that are not really powerful like Appaloosa on the board, it's really easy for you to slice through that like butter because there's just so much gas in this deck, guys. There's not a lot on engine. You can see here only Droll Lockbird and Super Poly, so we're just banking on the super high impact non-engines. Now, the Resonator package is something else that I completely grazed over, but this card allows you to special summon itself while you control level 5 or higher Dark Monster on the field, and he then allows you to search a copy of Crimson Gaia when he's sent to the graveyard for a synchro, and then Crimson Gaia is activated, allows you to add back that same Vision Resonator back from your graveyard, so it's just like a free +1. And it effectively makes your level 6 Earthbound Fusion become a level 8 Synchro or a level 10 Synchro. Again, we have a lot of powerful negates like Dragite, who can then be turned online when we have a water like Tearlaments Cash in our graveyard. Or you can go into Stardust Dragon XL and then just go into the Baron de Fleur. So it just gives you so many lines to just go into your negates. It's crazy. He really liked the Earthbound Fusion. He said this card was absolutely busted, milling it and activating it. It's a starter as well because you can fuse with your tier and then get the effects in graveyard. So it's like a fast, quick effect polymerization. And you can also make Guardian Chimera during your opponent's turn because that's actually a Dark Fusion monster. So it's absolutely crazy how much synergy this deck actually has. I'm really crazy. Like, this deck building is just next level. He also played Set Rotation. This is like a pseudo terraforming that doesn't play in a Droll Lockbird, but also gets rid of the Fire King Island. So then it pops all your opponent's monsters on the table, which is really cool. He threw together the side deck as very generic. And then the extra deck, he said everything was basically mandatory except the Visa Starfrost. So Visa Starfrost can be made, and then you can just search a copy of the Pearl Rhino or the Cash Field spell because those, well, not the Cash Field spell, but the Pearl Rhino because that mentions the Visa Starfrost. He said it could probably be cut for something like a Cross Sheep or something else like an SP Little Knight, you know, just to have more interactions. And yeah, he unfortunately lost to 2 fire decks, but he said they were completely winnable. In the first game, he lost game 3 because he sided out the Harmonic Synchro Fusion, unfortunately, so that forced him to stop his play, but he could have just kept going. And the second one, he accidentally held the Super Volley a little too long, and his opponent made Nightmare Phoenix, and then got rid of the both bodies on the board and dumped the Flamberg Dragon to full combo. But he said that this is the first time he actually played this deck. He didn't have a lot of time to playtest. This is purely theory, and it's crazy how crazy. Like, this deck, everyone was reading the cards. Everyone was just like bulgy, wide-eyed, like, what the heck? This is the end board? How are you doing all this? And there's no locks. The deck is actually really, really viable. He says it could definitely be well enough to topple ICS, maybe not win because it does have some consistency issues being TEARLAMENTS. You know, you'd have to rely sometimes on your mills. Also, Drone Lockbird hurts this deck a lot because you do a lot of searching, but he says it's the funnest deck he's ever played in his history of 10 plus years of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys, you should definitely check this out. But first, let's dive into the combo. This is just a sample test hand that I played, being first time I played this as well, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but it was absolutely amazing and I had a lot of fun. Extra deck is really, really like interesting. It's really, really tight. First and foremost, you can see like all these different cards that fulfill a certain purpose. He actually talked to me on the morning of talking about debatably cutting Kaleido Heart from the deck because that's how tight the extra deck is. You can see there's only 1 copy of Rhino Heart, but he ended up playing it just because you have the utility to search for Soliak and vice versa. The Stardust Dragon excels, so you can easily go into the Baron de Fleur. By the way, guys, Vision Resonator can be searched off of Stone Sweeper, which can be added off of Gremlina, which means you can instantly access Baron de Fleur by fusing a tier name plus an Earthbound into Gremlina. So that means you're basically fusing for a Baron de Fleur. It's crazy. Copy of Geo Griffin. Dawn Dragster. This is interesting. You can actually special summon out Stone Sweeper when you control a field spell and then use Vision Resonator to go into the Dawn Dragster, which is a level 7. Holy crap. Wolfreya, which is a level 9 that you do require for the Harmonic Synchro Fusion at some point in the combo. And then Visa's Amrutara. He said this can be switched again for something else because it doesn't really come up, but it can come up if you just want to go into this and then search a copy of the field spell. So this is just a sample hand I just happened to open up and just like dive straight in. You can obviously do a crazy combos just with Fenrir and Groundkeeper because you are going to be milling cards in the process of tier cash, but this is a random hand I thought I'd start off with just to show you guys like what the heck this is capable of if you win the die roll at first full power. We're going to summon out the Earthbound, the Groundkeeper, and then use the effect to actually summon out the Linewalker. Linewalker adds Harmonic Synchro Fusion, that allows you to synchro and fusion off of 2 monsters. Then we're going to add a copy of TEARLAMENTS Cash off of Fenrir. This is really important. Now, we have a tuner monster that allows us to go straight into Baron de Fleur with the 7 Cashier Fenrir, and then from here, we can actually bring out the TEARLAMENTS Cash. We're going to mill 3 cards because we're playing TEARLAMENTS, guys. We are going to mill a copy. Oh my gosh, we already hit the TEARLAMENTS Merly, so now this is already off the races. We can now use the TEARLAMENTS Merly plus the Engrave Linewalker, a lot like how you would use the D-Heroes previously. Now you can just go right into the Yugioh Gremlina, who allows you to add an Earthbound monster from your deck to your hand when you special summon, which means that if you add Stone Sweeper is amazing because you can actually search for the copy of Vision Resonator. Yes, Vision Resonator is a level 3 or lower tuner dark monster, and that means Yugioh Gremlina is obviously an automatic Baron de Fleur or a copy of a level 8 Synchro. So it means if you mill a TEARLAMENTS name plus an Earthbound name, you're instantly fusing for a Baron de Fleur, guys. You're fusing for Baron de Fleur. Holy crap. Okay, now we're going to go directly into the Yugioh Gremlina, or the Yugioh Griffin rather, which is the level 8 that allows you to resurrect an Earthbound monster from your graveyard in defense mode. We're going to bring back the Groundkeeper, activate Harmonic Synchro Fusion that says you can synchro and fusion using the correct materials. So we're going to have a level 9 Synchro, which is, in our case, well, first of all, Geo Kraken, that requires 2 Earthbound monsters, and then in our case, the Synchro being Wolfreya at Stellar Wind, who is basically a Nibiru that gains 300 attack each time another monster's effect is activated. And then when he's 4k or more attack, you can actually shuffle both this card and all monsters your opponent controls back to the deck. Really, really awesome. And then we're going to use the effect of Kraken to add a copy of the TEARLAMENTS Field Spell. You guys know where this is going. Sharon is in rotation. Use the effect. Well, first we're going to summon out the Vision Resonator because we control the dark monsters. Going to go directly into Drag Guide. This now is a spell trap in the gate now that we have the water monster TEARLAMENTS Cash in our graveyard. And then we can use the Vision Resonator to add a copy of Crimson Gaia just for a free +1. Use that to add it back the Vision Resonator. And then we can then use the effect of Sharon. We have not yet tapped into our TEARLAMENTS engine. This is absolutely bonkers. Mill 3 cards. We've already hit the Medora, which is super nuts. And this is already looking like a good end board. We're going to activate the effect of the Haviness that we discarded to go for the Dragostophilia. we have options. I mean, the Earthbound Fusion could have been activated at any point during this combo to make our board a lot better. If we somehow could get access to Rhino Heart, potentially, that was something else. Maybe we actually could have done that here with the Purple Rhino, just go into the Rhino Heart, somehow get that into rotation so we can then pop it and then send the Scream to add Soliac. But Earthbound Fusion allows you to banish itself to then resurrect any of these Earthbounds. Yeah, literally any of these guys can be special summons, so it's absolutely crazy that just watch out for the restriction. I think Harmonic Synchro Fusion that prevents you. It's not an actual fusion summon or synchro summon. So yeah, watch out for that. But anything else you can bring back. So it's really, really interesting. We can obviously bring back Yugioh Gremlina if that was still in our grave, but we're just going to set in this case because on our opponent's turn, what we can actually do is use Earthbound Fusion, and it doesn't have to be during the main phase either because we do control a field spell to go into our super broken Guardian Chimera that can be chain blocked because we're using Sharon in this case, and we're also using Tearlameent's Cash. We can pop a multitude of cards, mill more cards, and potentially continue fusing. Now, you guys, look at my zones are literally locked by the monsters because you can't link, so it's really tricky. You have to kind of control your zones, but there are a lot of powerful negates in this deck. So guys, give this a try. Let me know what you think. Congrats to him once again, Anthony ECKROTH. Huge shout out for the crazy deck building. He got 10th place at Utah Regionals in a field of over 100 players. Yeah, really crazy deck. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really stoked to try this out in DB Ladder because it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.